A 22-year-old nursing student, I know you've been following this, Laken Riley in the state of Georgia by an undocumented Venezuelan migrant. The suspect had been detained by Border Patrol upon crossing, released with temporary permission to stay in the country. He then went on allegedly to commit crimes twice. Did those states and their law enforcement communicate to the federal government that this had happened? Should this man have been deported?
A few thoughts. We work very closely with state and local law enforcement.
Are you saying there that the federal government had been informed about this individual and the alleged crimes he had committed in those states? Because he could have been deported if that was the case. Was there a breakdown in the system?
So, Margaret, there are a number of cities around the country that have varying degrees of cooperation with the immigration authorities.
My larger reaction is disappointment. I do believe that states should be able, under our Constitution, to bar oath-breaking insurrectionists. And ultimately, this decision leaves open the door for Congress to act, to pass authorizing legislation. But we know that Congress is a nearly non-functioning body. So ultimately, it will be up to the American voters to save our democracy in November.
A rare moment of unanimity on a usually divided court. All 9 justices of the Supreme Court agree that states cannot kick candidates off the ballot under the 14th Amendment, that clause which you mentioned, which passed after the Civil War. And what the Supreme Court said is that states can't enforce that it requires Congress to pass a law to outline how that clause should be enforced, concluding very simply that responsibility for enforcing that part of the Constitution rests with Congress and not with the states. The Supreme Court expressing real concern that states could go different ways. Some states would perhaps ban one candidate, some states perhaps ban another candidate. Other states keep them both on the ballot, and they express concern about the disruption.
First, the House Foreign Affairs Committee is threatening to hold Secretary Blinken in contempt if the State Department does not hand over material concerning the Afghanistan after action reports, specifically some internal notes. What is the White House's response to that contempt threat? And then did the White House ever direct the State Department to hold up on releasing those documents?
I'm going to refer you to the State Department on that.
So the committee says that in their interactions with the State Department referred them to a White House lawyer. So can you tell us anything about that?
Talk to the State Department about that. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. Sorry, just give me a second. All right, well.